Well, Mr. Gates is up to it again. You won't believe where he's at and what he is doing and the announcements he's making when it comes to his initiatives. We're going to talk about Bill Gates today. Also, we're going to discuss this geomagnetic storm that is going to happen tonight. Are we at risk? Is it something dangerous for America? Is it something dangerous for the world? It may not be for humans, but it may be for something else. So we're going to discuss the dangers of the new geomagnetic storm that's coming this evening. Also, we're going to discuss what some African leader just said about the USAID and the finances. This is mind-blowing. Kind of more the same of what we know, but when you hear it multiple times, then you start realizing truth among truth among truth. Also, we're going to discuss debt addiction. Is that real? Yes, it is. We have people now paying people to bring food to them, and then on top of that, now they can borrow money for their Chipotle or their Taco Bell or their hamburgers. It is unbelievable where we're at, where we're worried about EBT and SNAP benefits paying for sodas, and also that we need to borrow money to pay for our DoorDash. We're in a bad time in our world, and really Costco is cutting measures. Walmart's cutting. There's actually two stories where Costco and Walmart are now cutting prices. Is it because they want to make America better? I don't know. We'll discuss these things and a few more stories today. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to the channel today. We are so thankful that you are here. We humbly ask that you give us a thumbs up and comment below. Tell us what you think of the video. And if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. We have been losing subscribers pretty handily. Our YouTube agent says it's normal, it's okay, but we're losing thousands upon thousands. Sometimes I think it's because we're speaking truth. So we need your help. Please spread our message across this platform by liking, commenting, and sharing this video. All right, let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about how Costco is literally cutting prices. Walmart actually come out and said they are cutting some food prices too. Now, is this signs of a better economy? Hopefully. But what is unbelievable, this is kind of like the Tesla thing. For the longest, Tesla was the #1 car of leftist ideology and climate ideology and really the Democrats. They bragged upon. Well, all of a sudden when this gentleman starts figuring out that we need to cut some of the government spending, we need to find the fraud, and he supports Trump, then everybody hates Tesla. Well, this is what's so funny. We have been wanting lower prices, and I kid you not, we wanted lower prices. America wanted lower prices on Costco, Walmart, groceries, food items, and just goods that we're buying. Kid you not. Because the prices are going down, there's people melting down the internet of why Trump is getting the credit for the prices going down at Costco and Walmart and other big box stores. Now, does that not blow your mind that now they're mad at Costco and Walmart and other retailers for lowering their prices? Now, you can say it's because of Trump, you can say because the price is lower, you can say because they're just on rollback. But either way, your prices are going down, and so that's a good thing. Even now, though, there's politicians on the left, and there's some on Reddit and Twitter that are literally mad that Trump is getting credit, that the prices have gone down. Now, I want to ask you this. If you remember back in 2016 to 2020, the stock market actually went up, and actually people's retirements went up. But no one wanted to give credit to Trump. I mean, that was the reason for the markets doing well. Well, now we see the prices are going down, which again benefits us. Now we can see the fact that we're saving tax dollars, which benefits us. And people still find a way to complain. It doesn't matter, I think, what this administration does. If they cured cancer and gave everybody a tax-free year, I think people would find ways to complain. But I will say this, if you are shopping, notice some discounts and notice some rollbacks and notice some cheaper prices at Walmart and Costco. They both came out and said they are looking to lower prices and they're hoping to keep on doing this. This is a trend in the right direction and this will keep on happening. So that's some good news. Now let's jump into the other stories of the day. There is a geomagnetic storm that has been announced and it's going to quote unquote hit the world. It's a G3 geomagnetic storm. Now, is this a big deal or is this something that we should worry about? Listen to what Insider Paper says. A strong geomagnetic storm watch has been issued for tonight for the powerful solar system that is heading towards Earth. The Space Weather Prediction Center has classified this event as a G3 storm, effectively meaning disruptions to electronics can be possible. The reason I want to bring attention to this, they're saying that it's not harmful to humans. It'll make the aurora lights even stronger, the northern lights even stronger. But what they're saying is the dangers of this is our dependency on electronic devices and how these electronic devices may be fine. It's just a watch, it's not a warning. But they're saying our lives have been so involved with technology that these geomagnetic storms and these solar flares are actually what could cause more problems for America. Not because of the harm to humans, but our dependency on electronics. Now the reason I want to bring this up is because one thing that we've tried to do here is we've tried to kind of just put our phones down, turn our TV off. We've tried to go out and fish. We've tried to go out and swim. We've tried to go out and just spend time as a family, because I think if we depend on these things when these kind of situations happen, do you know the chaos and crisis that would happen if all of a sudden social media went down all across the world? Would you know the chaos and crisis that would happen if all of a sudden the internet was shut down and couldn't make it? There's a geomagnetic storm that hit the grid that caused problems with grid down power, and you'd lose electronics and utilities. Do you know the chaos and crisis that would happen? So the reason we bring these kind of stories up is not to make you fear, but to make you say, you know what, let's start getting prepared. Let's start looking at options to not only buy the electronics and the off-grid needs that we're needing, but maybe a Faraday cage or Faraday case to put our things in when things get bad. Like tonight, we have a G3 storm hitting. They say it won't affect places like South United States, but in the northern areas, I would typically put my stuff in a Faraday cage. We have a Faraday cage and we put a lot of our electronics in it when we hear about these things. Not because we're in fear, because we're preppers and we know that that's a good thing to do. So pay attention to these kind of stories. They don't get a lot of traction until all of a sudden it's too late. There's no risk to you when it comes to your health, but there is a risk to you when it comes to our well-being, because our life has been based on these things for so long. Which ultimately brings up the next story. Now more than ever, people are using DoorDash and other apps for comfortability and for them not to leave their home. I don't blame people for wanting comforts brought to their home. I mean, look, we understand. Nobody likes going to Walmart. Nobody likes going to town. And like our town is getting new road construction. So, man, it's just hard to even get through there. However, what we've seen is we've been so addicted to using convenience that we're willing to spend more money than we even have. Our debt addiction. What we've seen is DoorDash use has went up. For instance, a burger that cost, now again, I don't shop fast food. We have not eaten fast food burgers or fast food in a long, long time. But the average fast food burger is around $7 to $8, okay? That's a lot. The average DoorDash on that same food is around $15 to $17 because they're bringing it to you. Their service fees for DoorDash or for Uber Eats, whomever you're using. That's not counting a tip. So then people are tipping. Now here's the thing. If you're willing to pay $22, $23 for a burger that's really bad for your health, that's pretty stupid. I'm sorry. That means you are either lazy or you have way too much time on your hands, or you're in debt up to your eyeballs and you don't care. That's what is actually happening now. Klarna, their stock has went up. What is Klarna? Klarna is a buy now, pay later. It's just tied in with Walmart, just tied in with Amazon, and now tying in with DoorDash. Now, what is this a big deal for? Why do I hate buy now, pay later? First of all, their interest is like 20, 30, 40%. It's absolutely horrendous. On top of that, if you are borrowing money on Klarna to pay for your DoorDash, which is overpaying for trash food, there's a problem. And I know that sounds absolutely crazy to a lot of people that's probably viewing this, but this has gone on and this has become a phenomenon. Listen to the story. DoorDash Klarna deal feeds US, but more than feeding US, it adds to the debt. This is from Zero Hedge. It says, we've reported on many indications of faltering US economy, and it's been propped up by our debt. The latest entry is now DoorDash has inked a deal with Klarna. Now, do I blame DoorDash or Klarna for being business people? No. However, I blame Americans for actually believing this. It's like, for instance, I heard a guy the other day that's on a podcast, and he was talking about how it was basically a jogging, like a jogging shirt like I've got on. I've just got done running, so I throw this on because, it's just kind of a little chilly outside. This shirt was like a dirt cheap shirt. I mean, we bought this thing online for like $10. I mean, this was an old shirt. Now, Compare this to the one that this guy was wearing. He was wearing the shirt and he was bragging on how it was, almost $1,000 that he bought this nice in high-end store. It looked like one you buy at Walmart, the Jersey brand, for about $10. Now, why do I bring that up? We've become addicted to making sure we can be like everybody else. Keeping up with the Joneses has been a problem for a long time. Well, debt is still costing us a lot of money. People are in debt up to their eyeballs, and now they're trying to find new ways to get in debt and be lazy and do it all at one time. It's unbelievable. So it goes right to this story. Not only is restaurant food still expensive, not only has groceries, even though they're subsiding a little bit, they're still higher than what they were over the last few years. People are utilizing convenience more. Now, if you have the money to utilize convenience, go ahead. If you're stupid enough and rich enough to buy a $1,000 shirt, go ahead. I'm not, but go ahead. If you're able to pay $24, $25 for a McDonald's burger or a Panera Bread sandwich or a Subway, go ahead. But it's not really a smart way of utilizing money. Most of those people will not say, wow, I've been frugal and I've made wealth. They're probably not making wealth by doing buy now, pay later or buying convenience food and overpaying for someone to bring their McDonald's burger to them. But I digress. It says buy now, pay later arrangements have surged in the recent years. What began as a reasonable accommodation for large purchases like appliances and furniture has now metastasized in Americans using it to buy their pizza for Friday night or to buy their hamburgers while they're at lunch and they don't want to actually go get it. So let's just say synopsis. Okay, if you bought your sandwich to work every day, ham sandwich, you probably spent $3 on a nice loaf of bread, organic bread $5, okay, non-nitrate ham. You may have spent, what, $7, $8, and you bought some avocado mayo. Now you've got $15 to $17 tied up in, really more than 5 days worth of lunches, but $15, $17 tied up in lunch for all week. Okay, so now let's say that we're going to work and we go eat every day at lunchtime. So one day you go to Subway, one day you go to Pizza Hut, one day you go to McDonald's. Again, your diet is slammed, you're probably overweight, and you're probably in bad health. But I digress. Let's go along with the example. So now you've spent $50 to $60 for the same thing you could have spent $15 to $17 for just lunch. Basically to flush down the toilet. You get what I'm saying. Now, we have made it to the ultimate unbelievable time where we're too lazy to even go get our food now. And don't say you're too busy. Don't say that. That's a cop-out because it's not worth $10 to $15 extra a day. So now, instead of paying $17 for a ham sandwich every day, instead of paying even $50 to $60 for trash food from fast food each and every day. Now you're paying somebody to bring it to you. And that's $150 to $200 a week. So that is why now buy now, pay later has jumped to food. Because you're willing to say, I don't even really care. I just want somebody to bring it to me because I'm either lazy, too busy, or just, to be honest with you, I don't want to go get it. Okay, once a month maybe, twice a month, that's a little much. 5 days a week. People are using Klarna and buy now, pay later on DoorDash and Uber Eats more than you can even imagine. And on food. So why do we not find a problem with this? Well, here's the problem. People are realizing they can't afford it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I've got to turn around and still pay this buy now, pay later. Well, guess what? Now that chalupa, or now that Taco Bell burrito, or now that hamburger that you overpaid, by hundreds of dollars a month, now it's got interest tacked on it because you didn't pay it all. Because remember, if we're in debt up to our eyeballs, we're still in debt up to our eyeballs, and we're probably not covering our debts anyways on our credit cards if you're literally using buy now, pay later, because that means your credit's probably shot. So now that chalupa and that burrito not only cost you a few hundred extra dollars a month than the ham sandwich, it's now costing you 20 to 30% interest. And that's something that literally you flushed down the toilet a month ago. We've become so addicted to convenience and debt. And sometimes I think, like we were talking about yesterday, how it's good to get outside, it's good to put your cell phone down, it's good to realize that there is other avenues of working out and fitness and trying to make yourself better. And this is not the scale. Our scale could have been save money, eat healthy, get organic bread, get organic ham, and I'm saving money and I'm building up wealth. Okay, I give a lot of that up and I'm going to start buying town food, which is trash for me, probably making me overweight, probably making me unhealthy, and it's costing me more money. Now we're to a point where we're using debt, 20, 30% interest, buy now, pay later, and then on top of that, I'm too lazy to even get out of my chair to go get the food. What's the next step? Are they gonna chew it up and actually put it in your mouth for you? Is that our next step? We have built a generation of just absolutely entitlement. I'm sorry, it's just unbelievable that we have invested in a buy now, pay later scheme, which we would call payday loans back 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And now we're using them to buy our burritos and our hamburgers. That is mind-blowing. Especially after we hear the first story that Costco and Walmart are cutting prices. So you can now buy a ham sandwich, maybe even cheaper. And instead, you would rather pay someone to bring you cold food, takes you longer, and now you have debt that you're building up on a burrito that you ate last month. And this rolls right into the next story of the SNAP benefits not paying for sodas and Cokes and things like that. RFK and Trump's administration both are pushing for, better quality foods offered with entitlement programs. Well, I think this is a good thing. This kind of goes along with the fact that I believe that there should be welfare checks and drug tests for anyone that's accepting federal funds. This would also go to congressmen. I think it's the same way. Well, let's go back to the SNAP EBT thing. Well, right now you have big providers that are giving garbage food to people, and now their government is subsidizing that. Why is the government subsidizing bad food? And why now, when Trump and this administration wants to clean it up, that people are complaining? Well, the biggest thing has been this. Well, I can buy a Coke for way cheaper than I can buy a health drink. Well, water is pretty much free at every home. So that's not absolutely true. And here's another thing. I can literally buy a bag of Doritos for cheaper than I can buy any other healthy food. I kid you not. I can't grow apples here. But I can go buy a bag of Doritos for $4.57, or I can go buy organic apples from any grocery store for about $4.99 to $6. I literally went to Costco and Sam's and Walmart just to get this example. And I actually eat apples. I love apples and cottage cheese as a snack. I know that's kind of weird, but that's what I love. Okay, so that's been saying that's not true either. So now why are we still allowing this to take place, and why would people not want to be healthy? Well, this goes back to the threadbare statement of what I just talked about with the food. We've become so entitled, and we've become so lackadaisical and lazy even about our health, about our money, about our well-being, that we believe the government, we deserve to eat this trash food. We deserve to get what we want to buy. Well, that's okay if you're buying it. If you want to ruin your diet, go ahead, but do it with your own money, not with taxpayer funds. Because guess what? That same person that's eating that trash diet of sodas and Doritos and trash food and boxed preservatives are the same people that are getting the SNAP and EBT cards now will be the same people that are going to be on disability, Medicaid, and Social Security when they have not hardly done anything to earn it. They've not done much to work, and then all of a sudden they're entitled off the system. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, this is not for the people that's worked all their life and is on Social Security, on Medicare, or disability of some sort. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the same people that have entitled and government housing, government foods, EBT cards, not because they're down on their luck. They've been on for 10 years, which is unbelievable, asinine that that's even happening. But then on top of that, to think that those people are going to be healthy enough to not be on the system later on is unbelievable. That's why I think that they're trying to clean these diets up with SNAP. I think that's why they're trying to clean up the waste and fraud, because if we do not clean it up, the same people that's gaming the system now will game it even more later. The same congressmen and the same bureaucracy that's gaming the system now will game the system later. And they're going to keep on doing it if no one holds them accountable. That's why you hear conservatives saying there's no arrest made. There's no cleaning up. We see Doge is making hundreds of billions of dollars of savings. But for the people that's committed the fraud and exposing this stuff, why are they not in prison? If you don't get onto them and make them serve time for what they're doing, then they're going to keep on doing it. Prime example, Bill Gates. The problems he's caused all across the world because of his global health initiatives. Listen to this new report that we have on Mr. Gates. Bill Gates has wrapped up a high-profile visit to India, focusing on childhood in the arms, AI-driven education, and transforming agriculture through the Gates Foundation. Now, transforming agriculture, make sure you understand what this is. This is not making organic, sustainable ag, regenerative ag like we've seen and like we've practiced for years upon years upon years upon years in civilization. This is new and innovative ways of companies that he believes that can add more modification to those gardens to make them grow more. They may, but they're actually making it more unhealthy and more modified that's actually hurting our grounds. But I digress. Let's keep on going. His team explored new collaborations in India agricultural sector, including climate-resistant crops, AI-powered farming techniques, so that takes away from the farmer, newly developed pesticide sprayers, so they can spray your food, and now India's food, even though India was one of those ones who did not believe in GMO-modified or pesticides for the longest, until the West started implementing these kind of things across the world. Bill Gates has described India as the testing ground where innovation can be developed. Now, this is the same guy that had the problems in Africa. This is the same guy that's had the same problems and tied to a lot of foundations and NGOs in America. Because we did not hold his feet to the fire and pull funding and basically not just ostracize him, but actually put him in prosecutory situation, he's going to still practice what he's been doing. USAID, listen to this. The government, the judges, the activist judges just allowed for this to keep on happening. But I want you to listen to what this African leader just said actually is what's going on with USAID funding. And this is a person who their country actually benefits from this funding. And I love what she says here. She says, this is all the real reason that USAID is still going to Africa. Former African Union ambassador to the United States, Rakana Kwoa, said this. They're using this as open access, sounding humanitarian, but constantly just destabilizing governments and making the people upset with their own leaders. We need to understand the real reason why USAID is going to Africa, and it's not just USAID, it's all the NGOs, like the guy just talked about in India. They are coming to claim to introduce grassroots initiatives to help people so they can look like they're actually helping people in these the remote areas. But actually what they're doing is they're destabilizing governments by giving things to these remote villages, by overwhelming them with things of use to make them feel entitled, to then influence them to feel a certain way. Look at India. Did not believe in GMO crops or pesticides, and all of a sudden this billionaire goes over there, gives a lot of stuff through the NGOs, and therefore now they're starting to buy into these systems, and now he is making billions off of it. She said this is exactly what's happening in Africa. They're not going to help people, they're going to destabilize different areas so then they can put their will on these people and make money off of them and take their goods and actually utilize them for what they want for their selfish ambitions. She said that's what these NGOs and USAID is doing. This is not the government. This is not the Trump administration. This is not the U.S. government. This is not giving them aid. This is actually destabilizing these areas to cause problems. And it's not just the U.S. She said it's actually these NGOs that are ran by these nonprofits, these foundations, and these rich billionaires that want their way to utilize and to take advantage of even the government, not only the people. So what did we just hear in the last story? That's exactly what is taking place. The reason I love calling this the Sunday urgent message is because I want you to understand that these are some of the stories that you don't hear about. The African lady saying this is what they're doing with the money. And she's literally living there and seeing it firsthand. The fact of where now Africa's, it's not happening in Africa now it's India by this other billionaire and NGOs. And if we don't actually hold their feet to the fire, they're going to keep on doing these things. I mean, they're going to keep doing it. So, like for instance, this administration, Trump needs to just ignore these judges. Because, look, I'm sorry. Your Congress is not going to arrest people that are doing bad things. They're not going to actually impeach these judges because they need 67 senators, I think. It's not just 61, I think it's 67. So do you think they're actually going to have that 2/3? No, they can't even get 50 out of it from just the Republicans, much less adding Democrats to it. The waste, fraud, and abuse is not going to stop. The crazy debt addiction, not only in America, but also for consumers, is not going to stop. So when we hear good reports from Walmart, Costco, take advantage of it. Make sure you are prepping and buying goods that you're needing because it's not going to get better. The entitlement and the fact that we depend on SNAP or we depend on this government to give us money. We're lazy, we buy now, pay later. You've got to get out of those mentalities and start looking at how you can independently take care of your family. How can you sustainably take care of your family? That's what we show you on the other two channels, the Max Life, Misty's channel, and also Life with Colby Mack. If you want to know how we sustain, look at that channel. Watch those vlogs. We're actually showing you gardens. We're showing you how we raise our animals. We're showing you regenerative practices. How do I fertilize crops? I don't go to the store and buy fertilizer. I literally take my rabbits and chickens and use their fertilizer along with cattle and put it back in my gardens. I show you that on the other video, Life with Colby Mack. Go check it out. The point of the whole video, to show you how crazy things are when it comes to these urgent Sunday messages, is to realize that no one is going to look out for you and your family like you would look out for you and your family and your independence and your sustainability. It's time for you to put that back in your own hands. Trump is doing great things. Elon's doing great things. It's great. But they're not going to be able to do much because these judges and the Congress are not going to allow them to. As much as we want them to, it's going to take a monster reawakening and a monster reset before that ever happens. And that reset is going to come at a very big cost to us. Because what we don't realize, it would take a severe depression to change the policies, or a severe recession, or a severe attack to change the precedents. That's why we bring up the geomagnetic storms. That's why we talk about these cities in chaos. Because all those things have one thing in common. No one's looking out for you more than you yourself. Now, spiritually, as a Christian, we believe that God is right there. And this is Sunday, so I hope you took your family to church. But that's why we gain wisdom and we seek common sense. And we try to look to, again, spiritual things to say, you know what? It's time for us to look past all the crazy chaos in the world and start looking how God meant for this earth to protect us. And not only that, to give to us and help us and sustain us. That's why we grow gardens. That's why we have food. That's why we seek wisdom. Because we want to be better. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on SNAP. Let me know your thoughts on sodas. Let me know your thoughts on entitlements and buy now, pay later. Are you using that to buy your Chipotle? Please don't. Let me know what you think about Mr. Bill being in India now, doing what he did in Africa that caused the problems. But now we see the African leader just told us exactly what these NGOs are doing. They come in, they destabilize, they utilize us as testing grounds and ultimately use and take advantage of us and make money off of us. Sad. Guys, let me know your thoughts. God bless. Be free, be free.